Imagine standing before a dark, winding maze with no map, no timeline, no guide. Only a single thread in your hand and the faint possibility of escape. For Theseus, the hero of Athens, stepping into the labyrinth meant confronting the Minotaur, the monstrous product of betrayal and isolation. Today, though, you and I face our own labyrinth, not of stone corridors, but of thoughts, doubts, fears, and what-ifs. Our Minotaur lives in our own minds. It is the loop of overthinking, the unending spiral of second-guessing every decision, fearing every outcome, questioning every move. On the outside, you may seem fine, productive, composed, thoughtful, but inside, the mental maze has you stuck, circling problems without resolution. You don't need another strategy to overthink even harder. You need a thread. Clarity, witness consciousness, self-awareness. When you see the loop rather than being caught in it, you begin to step out of it. Ariadne's thread, finding clarity amidst confusion. In the original myth, Ariadne, daughter of King Minos, gives Theseus a thread, an anchor, a guide, a path out once the Minotaur lies dead. He ties one end at the entrance, moves forward, and after defeating the beast, retraces his steps by following the thread. In life, psychological clarity is your Ariadne's thread. It's noticing, here I go again, recognizing the same worry, the same assume loop, the same inner critic playing on repeat. That awareness gives you a starting point. Naming your beast, facing the Minotaur. Within the Minotaur in myth is born of betrayal and secrecy, hidden underground in perpetual hunger. In your mind, overthinking emerges from fears and unprocessed emotions left to fester in the dark. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being unlovable. Those thoughts grow dense when they're never spoken, never questioned. Naming your Minotaur means giving language to what makes your mind spiral. What are you really afraid of? Not just anxiety or fear, but why? Are you terrified of failing and being judged harshly? The false turns, when intelligence becomes a trap. Overthinking doesn't mean you're unintelligent. In fact, it's often the clever, the thoughtful, the deeply introspective who fall victim to it. The problem is not thinking, but thinking without end. Imagine a hero inside the labyrinth who questions every corridor. What if I turn left and it's a dead end? But what if I turn right and it leads to a trap? He stands paralyzed. And the longer he waits, the louder the Minotaur's breathing grows. We do the same. Should I take the job? Should I break up or stay? Was that email rude or am I overreacting? Should I post this or will I be judged? We run simulations, then simulations of those simulations. And each new scenario convinces us that we still don't know enough to act. But here's the truth. Not deciding is a decision, and it usually favors fear. Sometimes the wisest thing to do isn't to keep analyzing. It's to pick a path with awareness, accept its outcome, and move forward. Even if it's imperfect, movement creates momentum. Stagnation only feeds the monster. In the myth, Theseus doesn't just outsmart the labyrinth. He kills the Minotaur. The symbol of chaos and emotional disorder, the creature at the center, is not meant to be negotiated with. It must be faced. In your case, the Minotaur is not your mind. It's your fear of emotional discomfort, of uncertainty, rejection, regret. Overthinking is often a form of self-soothing. If I plan everything perfectly, maybe I won't get hurt. If I anticipate every outcome, maybe I won't fail. But life isn't tamed by control, it's shaped by courage. When you take committed action despite fear, you send a signal to your subconscious. I trust myself. I can handle what comes. You don't kill the Minotaur with logic. You kill it by acting before the fear tells you you're ready. And in doing so, you reclaim your inner space, the mental freedom that overthinking stole. After defeating the Minotaur, Theseus doesn't remain in the labyrinth to admire his work. He follows the thread and leaves. Many of us defeat one fear, only to build a new maze around the next one. We go from social anxiety to career anxiety, from relationships to perfectionism. We live in an emotional escape room, always solving puzzles, but never exiting the room. You must make the conscious choice to exit. That means letting go of questions that can't be answered yet, trusting your capacity to respond to life without having total certainty. The thread of Ariadne. What grounds you in chaos? Let's revisit one of the most overlooked symbols in this myth, Ariadne's thread. Theseus didn't escape the labyrinth just because he was brave. He escaped because he had a thread, something to guide him back when everything around him was designed to disorient him. This is where most of us fail. We try to escape overthinking using more thoughts, more logic. But what we really need is our thread, a practice, a principle, or a presence that grounds us. Your Ariadne's thread might be journaling, writing your chaotic thoughts out so they lose their hold over your mind. Meditation, not to escape thought, but to observe it without judgment. Spirituality or faith, a bigger frame that reminds you not everything has to be solved by you. The exit isn't out there, it's in you. There's a poetic ending to the myth. Theseus sails away from Crete, free from the labyrinth. But in his excitement or distraction, he forgets to change the sails of his ship from black to white, a signal promised to his father, King Aegeus. When his father sees the black sails from afar, he assumes Theseus is dead. Overwhelmed by grief, he throws himself into the sea. This detail reminds us, even after escaping one labyrinth, we can fall into another if we're not fully conscious. Our victories can become our blind spots. So what's the lesson here? Escaping the labyrinth of overthinking isn't a one-time feat. It's a way of being. It means choosing presence over paralysis, action over perfection, faith over fear. It means realizing that the exit to your mental maze isn't found by solving every corridor. It's found by trusting your step even when the path is unclear. The Minotaur dies when you stop feeding it. The walls vanish when you stop fearing them. And your true self emerges not when you find the perfect answer, but when you finally realize you were never lost, just buried beneath noise. So next time your mind spins with endless options, ask yourself, what's the next right step? Not the perfect one, but the true one. Then take it, and watch the walls fall away.